Okay, so we are here interviewing a teacher Gavita Sambay, the teacher of business and civics. We have recently know that next year the national classes won't exist anymore. So we want to know your thoughts about this as a teacher of international classes and national classes.
Okay, hello guys, good morning. How can I tell you that the benefits and disadvantages about this? Okay, it is a 90% option that the classes, national classes, will not longer be in the curriculum for you in third batch. That brings both advantages and disadvantages for you as a student. Advantages on the fact that you will have less classes that you will have to manage, and that will help you focus more on international classes, which is usually your time management organization problems, that you have a lot of things to do, that you feel that those classes take the most of your time sometimes, that you guys also feel that those classes are unhelpful for you. So if you look at it from your perspective, having less classes means that you can focus better on your international classes, which is the hope of doing so, okay? However, there are certain things for you to consider, such as the fact that this could also bring some disadvantages, as you might be losing the opportunity to at least get to know some basis thing, like the base of something. For example, in civics, even though like you have history in MYP5 and not all of you take history in the diploma program, that somehow helps you to have an idea of what's going on in your national reality. And that is an important thing for you to consider. So there are both advantages and disadvantages depending on the perspective you are looking at them.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's important to take in account the advantages and disadvantages because we, as a student, we don't necessarily take in account that. We just think that it will be less classes to us and we don't see all the perspectives.
And what about a national curriculum for business management?
Okay, so usually in third batch, you guys receive what is called business management, but in Spanish, and it's based on the national curriculum that the overall Ecuadorian system has. It's most likely that that class also disappears, which for me personally is super sad because some of you actually took a lot of advantage of those classes, being them in Spanish. Not all of you take business as their international class, and some of you do have that feeling that you like business, but because it was in Spanish or because I had a bigger preference for another class, I decided not to take business in my diploma program itself. And that I know that for some of you were expectant about it, okay? I was also expectant to get to know everybody, and it's really sad because sometimes most of you at the end of third batch you get switching your minds and you wanted to become doctors, and later you realize that I don't want to become a doctor, I wanted to study something related to business, and I didn't have business in my diploma program, but at least I have the national class, and that gave me again the basis, okay? Probably not as in depth as in the diploma program, but basis. So for that class in particularly, I'm worried and I'm quite sad that it's gonna be taken away from your curriculum.
I agree. Some students as me were expecting this class next year because I didn't choose business IB, but I was really expecting to at least have it in Spanish.
And for students like me that I chose the business class in IB, how will that work? How will that class help us to improve? It's just repeating or how it is?
It's not just repeating, okay, and the idea that everybody has the national class of business was that all of you get some basic information, because at the end nowadays in most colleges, in most universities, most careers, you actually have at some point something related to business. So it was just giving you a basic element, and if you took business IB and then you had the national class, it's usually easier. And I had seen, especially with my previous students, that it helps them refresh those things that they probably learned at the very beginning of second batch and then they forgot in third batch, and that also helped them get a better overview and prepare for their IB exams. I do think that that was a class that was a win-win situation for everybody because, as I was saying before, some of you might say, I don't want to now, but then yes, I do like that, and at least you get some sort of ideas, and because it also somehow fulfilled the vision statement of the school.
Yeah, so based in all of that you have told us, I realized that there are strengths and weaknesses about this. In my case, I don't feel much sad as Sophie because I take business IB, but it might feel upsetting for students that were expecting those classes.
Thank you, teacher. I am really sad because I really was expecting that class. Thank you, you listeners, for listening to this podcast.